is, what languages do you speak fluently?
Despite English?
Yes, besides English.
Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati, Arabic, Farsi.
What newspapers and news channels did you watch when you were in your home country?
I didn't really watch any kind of news channel. I mean, I kind of stayed away from that.
Okay.
I really just read books.
Was there a particular reason you stayed away from it?
I mean, I really don't. I mean, I'm not saying because basically media,
Mm-hmm.
media shows a lot for money in ways, and like it kind of like obscures everything, like the truth. And pretty much basically everything I see on the media is not even the good things that you want to see.
Yeah.
It's basically just horrifying, like, just someone got kidnapped, someone got brutally murdered. It's basically people blaming each other. No one ever, like, seems to inspect themselves, like they're doing the mistakes.
Yeah.
And that kind of like triggers me in a way. That kind of like really like I just abhor that thing.
Okay.
I don't like prefer looking at those. I love reading like books of inspiration, reading like about good authors, just looking at the good things.
Yeah.
That's basically what I do. Yeah. I mean, I have seen some news with my dad, like, when I was young, like, it's called GOTV news and stuff. It's like Pakistan news. And
Okay.
are you meaning like back in my country or like here?
Like back in your country.
Okay, so back in my country, yeah. I never usually watch the news back over there, but I kind of came here and saw the news. Like, it's pretty much the same news channel over there, but if you watch it from here.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the only news I actually watch. But I really don't watch it at all. I mean, I just see my dad. I just read the headlines and just make my own configurations of it.
Okay.
And I don't like I don't believe everything I read. You know, I look it up. I'm quite inquisitive in the things I.
It's probably a smart thing.
I tend to question everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. GOTV. Why did you watch that? Why did you choose to?
Because it was the only one. Basically, I mean, Pakistan really doesn't have that many media news channels. I mean, it only has one global one that pretty much goes for the whole country.
Oh wow.
In whole. I mean, yeah, it has small ones, but I mean, you hardly see them. Also, like considering coming from like a small, like, well, I mean, our house is pretty big, but I mean, also coming like with limited cable, we can only watch like a few limited channels.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
What is the most important news in your country of origin at the moment? Like, what is the biggest like thing that's, or like not like company, but like what's the biggest news story that's happening?
Oh,
right
politics.
Now? Politics.
Yeah, definitely corruption. New leaders. Corruption again, and like, I mean, I'm not saying I hate my country. I'm just saying like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm actually just stating that everywhere we go, we're not going to be safe. We're not safe anymore. America has the same problems as Pakistan. Pakistan has like a ton of problems, but their own distinctive ways. You're actually having a fight. You're having a race of like, culture, like, cultured, brainwashed people trying to live in the like 21st century, and that's really difficult for them to adjust.
Yeah.
And why do you think all these like Islamic ideologies, like this radical ideology, has nothing to do with Islam at all, but they pretty much implement that to make it like Islam? You know why? Because that's what their ancestors did. Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. I mean, if you really want to know, like, you want to know where the biggest population of Islam is Indonesia, actually. It's actually Indonesia, but no one looks at Indonesia. I mean, when you look at Islam, you look at the Middle East. But the funny thing is, like, right now, women's pretty much a big, like, rape's pretty much like the biggest thing in Pakistan.
Like women's rights being
women's rights, and that's cut off, and that's not what I read in the Quran. I kind of read the Quran, but like by myself 5 times, and I also translated it by myself, and I read the Quran almost every day. And I read other books too. I read the Torah, the Bible, the Psalms book, like, and I'm pretty like I'm not saying I'm a scholar, but like just I love to. I love to learn, and I love to use my own discernment on before I make some precise judgments.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Indonesia has great women leaders. Can I say this right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Indonesia has great women leaders, but the funny thing is, like, ironically, like, culture or Islam as they present it to be, it doesn't actually show women to be as big, because once you look at, like, pretty much Islam, you look at the Middle East, look at beheadings. I mean, that's a problem for Saudi Arabia, but as in Indonesia, you have women leaders.
Yeah.
See, this is what we do. We don't we don't really focus on what the book. We don't really focus on what the book says. We actually just focus on what people are actually doing. I mean, religion is okay. God's okay. God's everything. Every kind of religion in this world has the same prime examples. The only problem is the people, what they make it up to be.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're beheading people, well, that's a problem for Saudi Arabia. If you're killing people, that's a problem for Pakistan, Afghanistan, Indonesia. But you have women leaders over there. Nothing's wrong happening over there. basically people just love to paint the whole, like, with the same paint over the whole painting with the same brush, and
broad strokes.
That's pretty much where you get bias and prejudice and discrimination, and that's pretty much what causes a problem with everyone. No one tries to inspect themselves. They pretty much, like,
Yeah, it's somebody else's fault, always.
And details actually really matter. When, like, the thing about Pakistan, like, culture over there wise, I love the good parts of culture, the food, the dressing, respect does come over there, but it doesn't come in the way that they need it to be. Mm-hmm. Not a want, but need. Those are two distinctive terms.
Yeah.
Like women over there, like, like, let's just say, let me give you a prime example. The prophets, like all the prophets, they used to get roses for their wives almost every day.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone doing that in our culture. I haven't seen. I even see my dad do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a different guy. I'm kind of.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Person.
I would do that. But not once I've seen someone in my family give a rose to their wife every day. Usually it's from someone, like, a husband entering the wife, insulting the wife, doing this to the wife, and pretty much just making her life miserable. Or the opposite,
Yeah.
Or vice versa. That's what happens. And now, do you think to yourself, is that what they did?
Yeah.
No. And actually, like, in, the end times, you're Christian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in times you believe, like, pretty much the day of judgment, like, the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm. Christ will come back and...
Yeah, we believe in that too. A lot of people know that for some reason. They think we don't even believe in Jesus. The reason I have a beard is because of Jesus too. The reason I fast is almost because of Jesus. Not all of that, but some parts of, preliminary parts of that. Yeah, like you see, like, it's bias, it's cultural bias. It's nothing to do with religion at all. It's nothing to do with, like, when God mentioned, like, when God mentioned religion's going to disappear, he didn't mean religion's going to be disappeared. It's just going to be transformed into something that we don't even know what we're doing. That's my answer for that.
You kind of answered this already, but the next question. But what did or do you like about the news outlets in Pakistan? What do you like about them?
Set the siren pass. Like, what are the things I love about Pakistan?
Yeah, or like the news outlets in Pakistan. If you have anything that you particularly like about it.
Quite straightforward. They don't hide anything in a way. They show pretty much brutality and, like, what's going on, and that kind of, it shows Pakistan the way it is.
Yeah.
That's the good part about it. They don't hide anything. They're like, we're not going to lie about this. They do mix up stories in some kind of ways, but they still show the truth in, like, they're still, like, real about the truth, what's going on.
Yeah.
They want people to think about themselves.
They try to make everything look like rainbows.
Yeah, and that's how they gain the money too. But I mean, that's a good way to gain the money. Like, but there are some parts, like, where they just pretty much show violence. I mean, yeah, violence is gonna attract the most viewers anyway. No one's gonna, like, I mean, come on, no one really. I mean, hardly anyone cares. I mean, they do care. There's a ton of good people in the world. They're just, like, sublime. Like, they're just not in the open.
They don't.
I mean, no one's gonna really care about, like, you feeding birds. I mean, in the out open, they're just gonna care about you killing birds instead.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you answered this already? But what do you dislike about it? About how
I'm a quite harmonious person. I like peace and everything, and I don't like speaking without, if I don't know details, I just rather stay silent. And I love reading the books and reading. Usually, people. What I hate about Pakistan, in a way, they only follow people. They don't follow like, real books themselves. They don't follow, like, the Quran itself. Some of them do. They pretty much let their arrogance and, like, bias and their pretty much, like, cultural background and pretty much everything that they've been through the past kind of dictate their future, and that kind of ruins them all. Why do you think Pakistan's not advancing? That's one of the reasons. I mean, Pakistan people pray. People in Pakistan pray every day, but their actions don't say so.
Yeah.
You can't be praying. I mean, like, you can pray as much as you are, but if you're not a good person, if you're not making the right choices, God's not going to accept your prayers. They're not going to do that. That happens for Christians too. No, everyone.
Oh yeah.
Every kind of color. I'm kind of like, I really like to make the connection in the future between Islam and, like, culture in a good way. Islam did not originate from culture. Culture just came out from some kind of human custom that pretty much someone wanted to do it so badly that they just misinterpreted everything. People usually do this. Look at one word and they pretty much, like, think about the whole chapter is going to mean like that, but it's not. Summarily speaking, not many people focus on details. They just focus on the general picture, but they don't realize that details make up the general picture itself.
Yeah.
What I hate about Pakistan is corruption, bias, prejudice, discrimination, actually, which is funny that they don't even know that it's bias.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hate.
And then this is the last question. What is the biggest misconception Americans have about your country of origin?
Oh, misconceptions?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could say we're all terrorists and but no. That the biggest misconception. There's a ton, but the biggest one, that everyone's the same person, pretty much over there. Everyone who comes from there. I came from there. I'm not the same person as them.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest misconception American people have is pretty much detaining over our religion. It's not pretty much about people itself. I mean, when you look at, the thing about misconceptions, they believe that everything that we do is pretty much from Islam, but it's not. They don't realize that, we don't worship the moon god. We don't dictate women like that. We're not supposed to. Yeah, they do it, but that's not Islam itself.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's culture again. That's pretty much our background. That's pretty much we're the not the Ottoman Empire, but the Mongols, Genghis Khan. You can pretty much bring a myriad of just dynasties in the past that pretty much shaped the way that they were. Think about it. It's kind of saying the South and the North still exist in America in a way. Racism still exists, and racism only exists in the older generation.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exist in the younger generation. I never seen a guy. We've picked fights, but we pick fights over lunch seats rather than you're black.
Yeah.
No, or you're brown or anything. Come on, we go to clubs these days. We go to everyone. Everyone's living in harmonious. Mm-hmm. They're living in a harmony. They don't care. Everyone can get along, but if you think about most of our problems originate from the older generation itself, in a way. And who get blamed for? We do.
Yeah.
We get blamed for them. Why? Because we're millennials, I guess.
Yeah.
We're younger. We're stupid. I guess I'm assuming we're supposed to be stupid. Yeah. I'm not saying that's every adult, but that's usually. If you think about Mark Zuckerberg's interview in the the house,
mm-hmm.
it's like him teaching why. It's like me teaching my grandma how to use the internet.
Yeah, there's a disconnect.
It's kind of funny how we pretty much put the non-smartest people in to be our leaders, right? Popularity. Oh yeah, popularity.
Yeah,
votes, money.
Contest, yeah.
It's basically a popularity money contest. That's kind of sucks, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's pretty much that's what I foresee a nation to be doomed, not a nation to be grown.
Yeah.
I think we should have. I'm not saying we should have an IQ test.
Yeah.
But some kind of assessment, some sort of assessment to pretty much be selective about who we actually choose to be our leaders, because that's not an easy job.
Oh no.
And I know they're not tech savvy, but I kind of expect them to be, because they're governing our country.
Entire society.
When you're governing a country, you're not just governing the laws. You're governing pretty much what's in the laws and what makes up the laws. And that's pretty much for Pakistan too. Not many people in Pakistan understand. They're the older generation themselves. Well, pretty much when a younger generation speaks, what happens? Or you're too young to understand.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say to an older generation that's pretty much too arrogant and egotistical in their own ways? You can't do anything but just be silent and pretty much help the way that you can.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do, just believe in God and believe in God. I believe in God,
Yeah.
I believe in God in a huge way, and I look in the good in people. I never look in the bad in people. I know everyone can. The older generation can change too, but the only way the older generation can change is only expect themselves in a way. Inspect themselves and not point fingers at others. Change themselves first. We rather fix Earth first than rather go to Mars. And I'm a Mars enthusiastic. I want to get into Mars,
Elon Musk. Let's go
but
to
I don't
Mars.
want to get into Mars yet before we fix this planet.
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer.